Hey guys, Austin here. Today we're going to be looking at 5 Minute Fantasies, Week 8 booming and busting wide receivers. I'm going to say that this week you're definitely going to want to start Cooper Kupp. I know that he's had a slow last few weeks, but going up against Cincinnati, I don't think that there's going to be much conversation about whether or not that's a good defense or not. But I definitely think you're going to want to be starting him because he's still the number one option for Jared Goff on third downs and everything like that. I'm going to start Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson has had a confusing amount of production for how terrible the Chicago offense is. But this week, going up against the Chargers, who seem to not really know what's going on with their franchise right now, I'm going to say definitely start him, especially after the week that he just put up against Marshawn Lattimore, even though a lot of the yards were garbage yards. I'm going to say start Stephon Diggs with Adam Thielen out and going up against a pretty bad pass defense in Washington. That, coupled with the fact that it's a Kirk Cousins return to Washington game. I know that Dalvin Cook is going to get a ton of yards, but I also think that Kirk Cousins is definitely going to want to show Washington what they missed on, while they're sitting there with a rookie that, his first touchdown was to, the Giants safety, Jabril Peppers. I'm going to say, definitely going to want to start Stephon Diggs this week. DJ Chark. I know that I said that I think Gardner Minshew was going to bust, but I also think that his only real and favorite target is clearly been DJ Chark. So look for him to have a good game against the Jets, who the Jets secondary can be had. It's got to be methodical. It's got to be organized, mostly across the middle. But those post routes to the back corner of the end zone and then across the middle, that's really where DJ Chark so far has been making his best catches. So look for his production to stay up. I'm going to say, start Terry McLaurin. I know that Minnesota has a pretty good defense, but it's not really that great in the passing game, at least in the back end of it. They've got a decent pass rush, but Xavier Rhodes can't cover Terry McLaurin. Xavier Rhodes can't cover anybody anymore. And then start Juju Smith-Schuster. I know that they're on their, I don't know if they're still on their backup or their third-string quarterback. But, it's going up against Miami, and Miami sucks. There's not really much to say about Miami besides the fact that they look somewhat competitive. They try to make the games close as of late. But it's not really... No, start Juju. I'm going to say sit Larry Fitzgerald. I know that Larry Fitzgerald is, even though he's like 37, 45, something like that, years old, he's still producing. But this week in the matchup against New Orleans, he's going to be facing Marshawn Lattimore a lot. And, I'm really high on Marshawn Lattimore so far this year. I'm going to say sit Tyreek Hill. The fact that he's got a guy named Matt Moore throwing to him, coupled with the fact that Green Bay has a pretty decent secondary. If I'm not mistaken, aside from New England, they have the most turnovers in the NFL. Look to sit Tyreek Hill. I don't think he gets a lot of catches. I don't think he gets a lot of looks in general. Sit Odell Beckham Jr. Not really high on Cleveland. Never really have been. They're playing against New England. New England right now is on pace to be the greatest defense of all time, and it's not even close. I think in terms of points per game, I think right now the Baltimore Ravens of 2000 have the best points per game allowed, and that was like 12. And right now, I think that New England is on pace to allow like 6 points per game or something just incredibly stupid like that. At least the defense is. The defense has actually scored more points than it has given up. So, really just don't touch anybody on Cleveland this week. I'm going to say sit T.Y. Hilton. I think that he's going to be getting a lot of volume targets, but I also think that the Denver defense is a pretty legitimate one. I know that they really couldn't touch Kansas City, but Kansas City is just better than them on every level. Indianapolis, not so much. It's going to be a slow ground and pound game, so look to sit him. And then I'm going to say sit Golden Tate against Detroit. I know that this is his comeback game. This is going to be the first time he's coming back to Detroit. Look for that stadium to be cheering for him because I think right now Detroit is kind of out on the Lions. But Darius Slay knows Golden Tate, and in those kind of matchups, most of the time, the defender ends up winning, especially when it's just like a solid B+ wide receiver and maybe a C+ quarterback. So look to say Golden Tate this week.